Good morning. Today we're going to learn what yogurt, chia seeds, applesauce, pumpkin, and an egg have in common. In almost every baking recipe, there's going to be an egg, at least one. Eggs are what we call binders. They help hold ingredients together. They add lift to the product because of the whites. When you mix up whites, they get airy, and so they help add fluff to your baking ingredient or your recipe. They add structure so that it helps the cake or cupcake or dough have a nice finished set. And of course they add flavor because they are considered a fat. So sometimes we are out of eggs and you need to substitute something because you can't just eliminate it out of the recipe because it is your binder. So let's say you're making cornbread and you don't add the egg. Your cornbread will become very crumbly. The same with a cake. It just, you go to bite it and it just turns to crumbs. There's nothing to hold it together. That's the magic of the egg. It really does a good job of bringing everything together. So what can you do when you don't have any eggs on hand? Well, there's a few options, and it's based on what you have available around the house, but here's some ideas. First and foremost would be fruits. They're going to be your best choice. So this is where your applesauce comes into play. That's a very common replacement for egg. You could use about 1/4 of a cup for 1 egg replacement. So write that down. 1/4 of a cup for 1 egg replacement. Banana, avocado, pumpkin puree. They're also decent replacements. But remember that they can add flavor. So the banana is 1/4 to 1/2 cup. And the avocado is 1/4 cup. And the pumpkin is also 1/4 cup. So everything's 1/4 cup except banana. Banana is maybe 1/2 cup. It just depends on the banana, really. Mash it up real good. It needs to be mashed. And you can use that as a replacement for 1 egg. But, like I said, the banana and the pumpkin specifically will add flavor. They'll add that pumpkin or banana flavor to your baked good. Applesauce will not, but it will help bind it. Applesauce is much wetter than pumpkin and avocado, so it's also going to add more moisture. So if you have oil in that recipe, you're going to want to cut that back a little bit so that it's not too wet and it becomes greasy. I would say cut the oil maybe by 1/4. So if you have 1/2 cup of oil in the recipe, cut out 1/8 of the oil. So then you'll use 1/4 cup plus 1/8 of a cup to add the oil in to make up for the extra liquid that's in the applesauce. You don't want oily, runny, nasty cakes and bakes. No bueno. Okay. As well, because the fruit purees do not add the lift that an egg does due to the whites, you can also add an extra 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder just to help give it that extra lift. Okay. Next is chia seeds. Chia seeds can be a good egg replacement by soaking 1 tablespoon of chia seeds in 3 tablespoons of water. Let that soak and become jelly, and add that to your bake. And it will be a decent replacement as well. Another legume that I thought I had a can on hand, but I don't, and you might or might not, but is chickpeas by the can, not the dried. If you have canned chickpeas for Mama to make hummus, the liquid in the can is called Aquafaba. And many people who make macarons that are vegan will use that instead of egg whites. The Aquafaba can be used as a replacement for egg whites. So it's a decent replacement for an egg as well. But you have to have the canned chickpeas. And you would use 3 tablespoons per egg. The last last 2 options, sorry, I forgot one more, is yogurt. You see I have honey, so it's going to add a little sweetness if I were to use that to replace the egg. Just like the fruits, 1/4 cup per egg. And I would probably cut back on the sugar a little bit by, again, 1/8 of a cup or 1/8 of a measurement, whatever it happens to be, to make up for that sweetness. If you have plain yogurt, you wouldn't need to do that. In fact, you may need to add a little extra sugar because plain yogurt is so tart. And lastly, the one I forgot to pull out was mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is a good egg substitute, but it also contains oil. So that's what mayonnaise is. It's an emulsion of egg yolk, actually, and oil. So you can use the mayonnaise to replace an egg, 3 tablespoons per egg. Tommy's been doing that in the cornbread, and it's come out delicious. Just keep in mind, because it has oil in it, you're going to want to cut back the oil in the recipe if there is any. If there's not any, or if it has melted butter, cut back the melted butter a little bit too. But if there's none, then don't worry about it. You may just have a slightly extra moist cake. There's a lot of cake recipes like chocolate. There's a specific chocolate cake recipe that actually uses mayonnaise along with the eggs. And again, it's just because mayonnaise is nothing more than an emulsion of eggs and oil. Just make sure you're using, regular straight up mayonnaise, not avocado or olive oil or any of that, because those lend extra flavor, and you don't want that. You don't want any kind of added flavor. It might taste weird. So just stick with plain old mayonnaise, 3 tablespoons per egg. And that's all for today. We've learned a little bit about some binder replacements. So try some out on your favorite recipes, ones that you've made before, and see how you might like the difference. We like the way that the mayonnaise is working in the cornbread. And so I've been having Tommy do that instead of eggs lately, because it turned out better. So give it a try and see what you think. Have a good day. Bye-bye.